The news at noon starts now.
Live to our nation's capital, we are going to take a break away from the impeachment trial to update you on the big story of the day. If you'd like to keep watching the trial, you can find our coverage on KIRO7.com and on our smart TV apps. Breaking news now at noon, the search for these two suspects after a shooting in downtown Seattle that hurt 7 and killed 1. This is Marquise Tolbert and William Tolliver. Multiple shots rang out last night, sending people running for cover. And today, many are still in shock.
And we just heard this pop, 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 and everyone just took off.
I hit the floor right away. It felt like a bank robbery. I was scared to death.
I'm not really surprised that some activity jumped off like it did.
The city of Seattle clearly shaken following the violence, and today they are pushing for answers about what can be done to change the culture and rash of violence. We have team coverage of this story to help ease your mind of any safety concerns in Seattle. KIRO 7's Renji Sinha is in Seattle talking with people as they come and go around the busy area of 3rd and Pine. Rob Munoz is outside Harborview Medical Center with the latest. And in about an hour, we're set to hear from Mayor Durkin, Police Chief Carmen Best, and other leaders on the shooting. But we begin with Matt Smith, who's downtown where the violence unfolded.
Tracy, we continue to hear more and more from people. All morning long I was with you and we were hearing from people just hoping they would find out from the suspects. I want to show you, we've been seeing more and more police out in this area. That includes these folks right over here. One of the things that we're hearing from people, this was nothing short of concerning to see this unfold down here.
Sad as it sounds, I mean, there was a body laying right there.
Extra police, a boarded up window. For those who didn't see it, it seems almost too normal at 3rd and Pine.
To see people running for their lives was, I mean, what a scary thing.
Bill Ashton was here, safe, high above the shooting, but watched it all unfold. Down on the ground, police trying to gain control after 8 people were shot around 5 o'clock Wednesday. 1 woman killed, a 9-year-old among the 7 other people shot. Today, police point to these 2 men, Marquise Tolbert and William Tolliver, both 24, both considered armed and dangerous. Police releasing these pictures just 2 hours ago.
There was a dispute that happened in front of the McDonald's. People pulled out guns, shots rang out, people ran in various directions.
And I heard a pop, 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 and then about a dozen shots. And I just saw people jumping behind cars and jumping into behind anywhere they could to hide.
That chaos made it hard to figure out who was behind the shootings at first. But now, 19 hours later, we know police are zeroing in on these men. More police have arrived on the block, and people in the area actually returning to some level of normalcy.
It is strange to come here and compare it to what it was last night.
Now, back out here, I want to give you an idea, a chance to look inside. Business back to normal out here inside the McDonald's, but hard to see through the report. You'll hear more about that later today as well. We're live in downtown Seattle. I'm Matthew Smith, KIRO 7 News.
Matthew, thank you. We got an update about 2 hours ago on the victims still at the hospital. 2 of them are in satisfactory condition. 1 of them is in serious condition. KIRO 7's Rob Munoz has been stationed at Harborview Medical Center since early this morning. And Rob, we are learning more about them.
Well, just a few hours ago, Tracy, we found out that 2 of those victims were Amazon employees. Now, of the 7 victims were brought here to Harborview Medical Center's emergency trauma room, we found out 3 of them are still here right now. This morning, Harborview Medical Center shared that only 3 of 7 victims sent here after last night's downtown shooting are still here.
All the patients that came here are all, recovering. Many of them have been discharged, and so the 3 here are on the mend.
Those include a 55-year-old woman shot in the stomach. She came in critical and now is in serious condition. A 32-year-old man in satisfactory condition. And a boy, just 9 years old, shot in the leg, upgraded from serious.
He's got family. He's got a lot of support around him. I think children are resilient. They go through a lot, but I think what we worry most about is just the trauma.
Today we learned 2 victims are Amazon employees. Amazon sent out a statement reading, "We are deeply troubled by last night's event in Seattle, and our thoughts go out to everyone impacted by this tragedy. 2 of our employees were injured, and both are recovering. We are grateful to police and first responders for acting so quickly." All 7 who came to HMC were some sort of gunshot-related injury, requiring massive amounts of blood.
This morning, we sent many more units to Harborview than usual.
Bloodworks Northwest told us they are in desperate need of O positive and negative, especially following last night's incident.
All blood types are needed, but those are emergency. If something else happened today, we would be in a very tough spot.
Now, since we went on air this morning, Bloodworks Northwest said they've been getting calls about how to donate blood. They will stay open later to accommodate that need. Now, also, these victims were probably at this time of night, 5 o'clock at night, probably going to or coming from work. We're finding out more about their stories, and we'll be finding out more about this later on in later newscasts. Tracy?
On the victims, we will keep our team coverage on this downtown shooting with Ranjit Sinha. He spoke to several commuters this morning about the issue. He also heard from people who had to duck or shelter in place once the bullets started flying.
Yeah, and Tracy, once again, we're high above, across the street from Macy's, high above 3rd and Pine, giving you the bird's eye view of the situation down there. You can see police vehicles, sheriff's deputies, and police on the corner at McDonald's. But the bus stop in front of Macy's is one of the busiest in the city, and this morning was no exception. People getting back to work, but their commute came with concern that they easily could have been victims in this latest shooting.
It's crazy around here. You know, you got all kind of characters roaming up and down the street.
There have been close calls where I could have either been here or, been very close to it.
3 violent incidents in a 24-hour span was enough to make some commuters question how safe they are on Seattle streets.
We just heard this pop, 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 and everyone just took off and ran into the Walgreens store, and it was pretty scary.
Annalisa Murphy couldn't get to a regular bus stop yesterday because police opened fire on someone near 3rd Avenue and Blanchard. She's the sister of a Cairo employee, and she ended up at 3rd and Pine, right in the path of gunfire from the mass shooting.
I really don't want to have to go to the bus anymore. I kind of want to Uber now.
The Downtown Seattle Association has called on the city to take back 3rd Avenue from criminals.
I work right above McDonald's.
Kevin Trent says he feels for employees who work in the area.
And this block has always been a concern, so if anything, I would hope that there'd be a police response to this.
8 shots, but I remember 5, and I hit the floor right away. It felt like a bank robbery. I was scared to death.
Todd Clark says he was in a shop when bullets pierced the windows. He got off the bus this morning and came right up to us to give us his take.
There's way too much drug activity right in front of there. I think the police should step up their game a little bit.
More patrols in the area would be nice.
Statistics from Seattle police show an uptick in gun violence from 313 shootings in 2018 to 332 in 2019.
It's pretty obvious that a lot more needs to be done. I'm really surprised how many people got hurt. However, I'm not really surprised that some activity jumped off like it did.
And taking another live look down at 3rd and Pine, you can see a heavy security presence out here right now. Sound Transit had 4 security personnel out here for the morning commute, and we have seen private security escorting people all around this intersection, even though things appear relatively peaceful and calm here at 3rd and Pine. We're live in Seattle. Ranjit Sinha, Cairo 7 News.
Ranji, thank you. This afternoon, we are getting reaction from local leaders. Today, Seattle Council members Lisa Herbold and Andrews Lewis put out a statement on a call for action. It read in part, "We are deeply saddened for all the people affected by last night's tragedy." They went on to say this cannot become Seattle's new normal. Seattle must be a place where everyone feels safe to work and play. Our downtown core is no exception. Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan also reacted to the shooting last night, saying no one should face such violence and it impacts all of us when it occurs in the heart of our city. "I extend my support and that of our city to the victims and their families." And a reminder, we are expected to hear from her and other city leaders in about an hour about their response to the shooting. Seattle police were actually just blocks away when the first shots were fired last night. Just a few hours earlier, they got a call to a drug deal that they were trying to arrest the suspect. Police say when they approached the suspect, he flashed a gun, and that's when officers opened fire. You can see the rear window of that suspect's vehicle was shot out. A tourist we spoke with says she heard about 10 shots.
My heart's pounding, nervous. It's right in the city center, so it's really stressful.
The suspect, who was shot at least once, rammed a police patrol vehicle as it arrived on scene as backup. Medics rushed him to the hospital. No word on his condition, but he is expected to survive. Those shootings come one day after a man was shot and killed inside Westlake Mall downtown. That scene was just steps away from this one. Tuesday, police found a man in his 50s inside a stairwell with a gunshot wound. They put the mall on lockdown and shut down monorail service, but the shooter got away. We now have just told you about the recent rash of shootings in downtown, and earlier this month, Seattle PD put out its report on gun violence for 2019. Take a look at these numbers. Last year, 332 shooting incidents in Seattle. That's up from 313 shooting incidents in 2018. There were also 5 more deadly shootings year over year.